Hey scrappers, it's Tom from the iScrap app, and wherever you're watching us this week, we welcome you to our weekly report, where you can learn about scrap metal prices, news, ask us questions about materials, or ask our advice on the markets. If you're looking to ask those questions, ask us whether it's live or after, and we'll always get you those answers. Come on in, let's go talk scrap. Hey scrappers, Tom from iScrap, and today is Wednesday the 27th, 4 days before Halloween. So whether you're going to be dressing as a Tin Man, someone from a heavy metal rock group, I want to see your pictures. So send us your pictures for your Halloween costume, especially if it's scrap or metal themed. We always find those things to be really cool. Make sure you get those flashlights, those glow sticks when you're going out there trick-or-treating. Hopefully get some of those king-size candy bars. Well, we've been looking for some treats this week from the scrap world, and while we got some from the steel side of things, copper has not been the same way. We've seen a big drop in the copper markets. We saw about a 35 to 40 cent swing over the last 8 trading days. And these are the things that really annoy us. And a lot of people have always asked us, hey, should I hold my material? Should I sell my material? So as you can see behind me, we're going to start working on giving you a little advice. Again, if you don't like our advice, that's okay. That's why they're kind of opinion-based behind some factual things. We're going to tell you what's going on with the markets a little differently. But right now, with that big swing on the downside of copper, I still would sell some products or maybe some of my material, because I still think that we're about 30 cents higher where the market's going to end up leveling out at. You know, this morning I saw the markets drop 8 or 9 cents. I read an article earlier today just talking about like the demand for copper in 2022. And here we are talking about the EV market for such a long time. You know, Tesla announced a deal the other day with Hertz for 100,000 Teslas going into Hertz's fleet. And what does that mean? Well, that, Elon Musk became richer, but what does that mean for copper and for scrap? Well, more and more of these electric vehicles going on the road is going to be consuming more copper. Now, that's a good thing for the scrap, but the bad thing that we're now hearing is how many copper mines are either reopening or different mining operations are investing heavily in mining more copper out. Now, the more copper that gets pulled out of the earth means that the price of scrap is actually going to decrease, because when you have more of something, then you don't have as high of a demand anymore, because you do have a high demand, but it's going to be quenched with more raw material. So that valuable scrap, and one of the reasons we saw the copper prices jump up so high, we're going to start to see those prices decreasing the fourth quarter of this year and possibly into 2022. Now, these crazy numbers that are coming out of Washington with trillions of dollars being spent, thus diluting the dollars that are already out there, will keep the price of copper at in my opinion, artificially high level, but it really is kind of a new level because the trillions of dollars that were created the last couple of years. It sounds crazy to say, but these are some of the things that we see going on. So, while you might want to get back to that, some people were reporting their prices $4, $4.10, $4.20 that they were getting for Bear Bright. While those prices are going to be close, we're seeing more of a national average in the 375 range right now, because with these crazy roller coaster markets, which is exactly what they are. I mean, 2 weeks ago, markets shot up out of nowhere. Last week, market went down. This week, we're down another 12 or 13 cents. This is the opposite of what we want. So when you want to buy, hold, sell, whatever you're doing with your materials, these inconsistencies hurt prices overall. So those are things that we're looking at, and things like the electric vehicle push and more budget, whatever the heck Washingtonites are doing to create more money. These are things that are going to change the markets negatively. So these are some of the things that we're looking out for. Also, fourth quarter, a lot of companies take profit off the table. A lot of scrap yards will take profit off the table. A lot of mills, a lot of copper buying facilities will potentially shut down for the holidays or slow themselves down going into December, because they're going to be having a massive push for the next month, building products to sell before Christmas. You're going to see auto suppliers starting to ramp up their their push to put cars into lots. I mean, I went by 4 different car dealers today, and their lots were empty. I mean, crazy to see. But what we're hearing is some of these microprocessors and semiconductors, they're starting to finally pick up. And because of that, you're going to start to see cars going back on the roads, cars filling lots. That metal that kind of got paused, that was needed for a lot of these manufacturing activities because they bought so much of it, like the catalytic converter prices that we've talked about. A lot of that demand that kind of got slowed down a little bit because they couldn't produce cars fast enough, because they couldn't get the semiconductors. That might start to offset itself in the next few months as things finally start to play catch up, where the vaccines have worked their course, people are going back to work, the extra unemployment benefits have disappeared, people are realizing that inflation is real, rents are rising, gas is up, and this is what happens when different administrations take over. But the copper prices, the steel prices, of course, are going to be affected by the gas prices. And talking about those catalytic converter prices, they've been relatively steady. And a steady market is a good market. And on the other side of this commercial break, I'll talk about them for a little while and tell you what to expect going into the first quarter of 2022.
At rrcats.com, we have everything that you need to sell your catalytic converters. We have an easy quoting system that you can send pictures or serial numbers to. We have the ability to get your cats graded within 1 business day. You'll get quick payment via PayPal or check. If you look at our Google reviews and our other online reviews, you will feel confident with the team at rrcats.com to be able to purchase your catalytic converter time and time again. We look forward to earning your business at rrcats.com today.
With the catalytic converter markets really staying relatively calm over the last week, minor changes, 1% to 2%. We did see the palladium prices dropping, but they've been on a bit of a roller coaster between $1,900 and $2,100 an ounce. But a range is a good thing because if we know where the ranges are, then it helps rrcats.com and other catalytic converter buyers know how to price things out. So watching things and having a better idea about bottoms makes it much easier to purchase material. Now, I recently was at a show and I was talking to a lot of people that produce catalytic converters. And one of the things that they were saying is they were always confused about the prices. And what we've tried to do through our weekly reports and rrcats.com and, of course, over 200 metals on iScrap is share more prices. And the more prices that you're able to share, the more information we're able to take, digest, and package it up to you so you can learn more about the markets from a scrapper's point of view, opposed from a trading level or any other type of view like that. So these are little things to keep in mind. Now, the markets for cats have been strong. Gasoline prices have been continuing to rise. But because I mentioned before, those cars are going to start to roll out, the first quarter of next year, we do expect the catalytic converter markets to increase. We're going to see cars going off of the dealer's lots faster, getting into the dealer's lots faster. The supply chain problem that we've had is starting to show signs of improvement. I read an article about big manufacturers like Costco and Walmart and Amazon, where they used to rent space from large warehouse companies. Now they're building their own companies because they're just loading up on products, because what the last year and a half has shown them is that they can't rely on other people. Now, ultimately, this will lead to potential higher prices, but it will also lead to more stability in buying things, and that will affect the scrap market at a point where we'll start to see those markets having a much better flow-through rate, which means that steel is flowing in and out of the mills quicker. Copper is getting imported and exported quicker. Wire, the same thing, and then all other scrap kind of following suit. So these are the things that we need to happen. Labor has to go back to working. People have to go back to recycling materials quicker, making products faster, getting them into consumers' hands. And these are all going to be things that lead to positive and stable, most importantly, stable scrap markets. Now, aluminum has really stabilized over the last month. The lead market pretty calm, nothing crazy going on. Steel prices have continued to show an upward trend, up another $10 a ton in the last few days. So those markets, you should see price increases immediately. But other than that, the markets have been really good. Don't forget we're wrapping up the 10th month of the year. Traditionally, the last 2 months, November and December, are a little slower in the trading side of things, especially with some of this budget stuff coming out of Washington. There could be new taxes getting levied on different corporations. So you might see different things happening that haven't happened in years past. So we're going to watch these markets, report them to you, and how tax implications could affect scrap, or how different laws could affect scrap, infrastructure. All of these things will wrap up. I know that I've been reading a bunch of comments through social media the last week asking about holding or selling material. And in our newly updated weekly report, we're going to have some recommendations on what you should do with your materials. And if there's items that you want us to add on there, let us know and we'll be happy to. Scrappers, my name is Tom, and today is October 27th. Wish you a very happy, scrappy Halloween. Until next week,